de omnes solvete sodales. So let's talk about virtual assessment. And you may have noticed something a little bit different. I didn't capitalize the title today. And the background is very, very dark. Because I realize that for a lot of us, in remote and virtual and hybrid teaching and learning situations, it feels like we're totally in the dark. I was writing something this morning and I had this image. We've all seen back in pre-COVID times, been in the city, been in the park, right? There's the guy who, or the lady, or the person who's a mime, right? And they're performing in public and they're looking for tips. And the first thing that you learn when you learn to do mime is you learn to be in the box. And you're pressing your hands up against the side of the box. And some mimes are really, really good at that. And some people love mimes, and some people think mimes are a little bit creepy, and some people all of the above. But the thing about a mime is that you can't hear them. But what if you were a mime in a box? What if the box was real? What if the box was opaque and you couldn't even see them? Does it feel a little bit like that? Like all the rules suddenly changed? So I was looking for a presentation theme and I found this one. And I stared at this picture for the longest time and finally I realized what it was. It's a fairly extreme close-up of a bicycle chain in that big gear that has a name. You can see the pedal over there. And once you see it, you can't unsee it, but until you see it, you're looking at it thinking, what on earth is this thing? Your perspective is so changed that you can't see what's going on. So there's a connection between my image of the mime in the box and this image of the bicycle chain up close, and the situation where a lot of us find ourselves with our teaching and our planning and our assessment practices in a world where everything is different. Are you stuck between the old gear and the new gear? So if you've ever ridden a bicycle that has more than one speed, you know that when you change gears, the chain actually moves from one gear to the other gear. And there's that brief moment when it's in between the two gears and it's not engaged. And no matter how hard you pedal, nothing's going to happen because you're stuck between those two gears. What you have to do is stop, right? And you got to wait for the new gear to engage before you can start pedaling. And that's also true for those of us that like to drive stick-shift cars, right? If you rev the car while it's in neutral, while the clutch is in, nothing's going to happen because the old gear is disengaged. The new gear hasn't been engaged yet. What do we need to do? How do we go about taking that lesson? If we're the mime inside the physical box, we got to stop, right? Because nobody can see us. If we're riding the bicycle and we are pedaling, 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 but we're in between gears, we got to stop so that we can engage the new gear and then we can ride more effectively on the different terrain. If we're driving and we've got the clutch pedal in, for those of us like me who like to do that, you got to wait until you got to do that just right, Because you got to release the pedal while you're also accelerating so you don't stall. But you got to do that correctly. And it's not that hard to do once you know how. Well, it won't be that hard to do once we know how to do teaching and assessing and all the other things in this new environment either. It doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be difficult. And it definitely doesn't have to be complicated. So my hope for you, my wish for you today is don't get a metaphorical flat tire. Be aware of what you're actually looking at, like the picture on the top right, and think about, what do I need to do? Stop pedaling for a minute and let that new gear engage. Let's keep the conversation going in the comments here. And remember, guys, if you need anything, just send me a message. Just let me know, because we will find a way. Nobody needs to be trying to do all this work alone. But we can all find that next gear, that next right step, whatever your metaphor is. We can all get out of the box and find it together. So until next time, valete omnes, valete sodales.